Hey guys, welcome. Let's create this holding hand system together. But before we start, I would like to talk about the design wise and what we are gonna do here. Because if you watch some YouTube tutorials and you just follow the guides and everything magically works and you don't know the reason behind it and you don't get many information about what's happening. So I think here in that sense it's gonna be more efficient and useful for you guys. And also you will understand how the things are working together. So initially we will create a holding hands player which is going to be extended from third person player. So whatever third person player can do, our player can do it as well. And because we are gonna have this holding hands logic and the whole gameplay here in this holding hands player. About the behavior rules, let's define how the system is gonna work. So basically, if the same class, the two players are coming side by side, and we will make them to hold their hands automatically. So we are gonna restrict opposite direction for now because it doesn't make sense if they are coming from opposite direction and if they are trying to hold their hands. For now, the only two players can hold hands, but we are going to design our system in a way that we can support multiple players if we want to. But one player have to be a leader here because the other guy has to follow the leader's hand. So that's why we have this logic, and the other guy, the other player, will be a follower, so it will adjust its hand to the leader's hand. So basically that's what we are going to achieve here. Before going how to, let's talk about what to do and how we can do it. So basically, let's say we have two same holding hands player instances here, and we are going to create a shared holding hand context because for example, this context will be holding some information about whatever the follower needs. For example, the hand position, hand rotation, or whatever it is required for follower. So they will be using the same instance. So in that sense, if the leader is setting something here in this context, actually it's gonna be automatically updated in the followers because they are working in the same instance. And also we will try to keep this holding hand context as plain as possible because if probably we might have like dogs and horses as different characters, let's say, and still we might them to hold, we might have the functionality of holding hands, and in that sense we cannot actually do any skeleton customized operations here. And about the leader and followers, so leader is responsible for setting the context initially. So we will have a static animation for right arm for leader because this is will be our guider for the follower. And we also use layered blend for bone. So here, for example, this guy, the right hand will be holding and the rest of the body will still do its job. For example, if you're running or crouching or jumping, whatever you are doing, the rest of the body is gonna doing that. But we will blend these two poses by an alpha. So for example, if you are jumping and still like the half of the bones are still trying to jump, but we will keep it as like holding hands. And also we need to consider about state management here for smooth transitions and how we make it look realistic. From follower perspective, actually it is going to be a bit harder than leader because actually we don't know the current hand position and we cannot actually create an animation for follower. So we need to calculate this on runtime. So for that we will have to use IK control rig. Actually this tutorial will have a different different aspects of development, so probably we will get many other things. Also we need to consider about state management and how to make these transitions very smoothly. And also, for example, like linear interpolation alpha, if we try to apply for the target position, and we might result the hand is infinitely trying to reach the target position, and which is gonna look very unrealistic, and somehow we need to think about how to do the things in a proper way. And also IK solve parameters also might depend on each instance. For example, we are using a player, but let's think about we scale this down. And in that sense, still I want to have the whole functionality, but I might some specific configuration for that instance only. Also, at last, we will talk about how to achieve a different, let's say, different results for each instance. About responsibility wise, we will have an animation blueprint which will be used for leader and follower together. So we will have the most of the logic here about the bonds and transforms and what to do, because if we want to create another character, let's say another dog for the same holding hands player, and still we will have to create a new animation blueprint for it, and we can override the required things here in holding hands animation blueprint, and we can achieve the same result. And also we will have this IK mechanism for follower only, because leader has nothing to do with the control rig. So basically that's the idea, and that's and how to. I put some milestones here while doing it. So I don't know how many videos, but I will try to cover many of the milestones in a separate videos. Actually, before we start, before we going forward, let's create our project. I will go with games and third person, like a basic one. Let's call it holding hands. So you can follow up with me, and hopefully end of this series you will be able to reach these holding hands players. So initially we will try to extend our player, and let's add some required actions, sprinting or whatever, because we can demo it end of the video. Let's go start then. Let's try the best map ever. It works. Okay, let's go to content. I will go my characters, not characters. I will go to third person. I will open my blueprint. Let's see. We have actions. Let's define our action then. I will go to third person. I will go input, actions. I will copy paste one of them. Let's call it sprint. And this is gonna be a bool, because if I am sprinting or not, that's it. I will save and close. I will go input input mapping context, I think, yes. And I will open my mappings. I will add my sprint mapping here. I will open. I will call it with shift. It's gonna be left shift, let's say, and I need triggers for it. I need two triggers. The first one is gonna be when it is pressed, and the other one is when it is released. Actually, that's it. Let's save it and let's close. And in the third person character, I will have the sprint functionality here in this third person character. I will call it with my new action. If it is triggered, let's say print. Let's see if it works or not. Compile. Let's go. I pressed the shift and it says true. If I removed, it says false. Okay, actually it works perfect. Let's remove this. So basically I need to play around with character movement. If you see, we have max walk speed here. I will get this one and I will set max walk speed. I will also Ctrl C, Ctrl V, copy paste, because I will do the same thing. I will drag this and press B to get an if. If it is true, do this. If it is false, do this. If it is true, I am sprinting, let's say 500. If it is false, I am walking, let's say 100. Also, let's go to character movement, and initially let's make it 100. And let's save it, compile. Let's go. I'm walking. If I press shift, I am sprinting. Okay, I think that's good enough. We can actually close this character, because we are not going to do anything here. We need to create our custom player now. I will go to content. I will create a new folder. I will call it player. I will create another folder here just for holding hands player. Let's open it. I will go with new blueprint class, and it's going to be a character. I will call it BP holding hands player. Let's open it. Initially it is like an empty character, there is nothing here, but I will go to class settings and I will set the parent class to third person character, and then the whole components is gonna be loaded here, and I will have a clear event graph to do anything I want here specifically for my character. I will save and compile. Let's go to our map and let's go to world settings and let's use our player. I will go to game mode here, selected game mode. If you don't see it, you can open it from window world settings, and I will go to default pawn class. I will select my holding hands player. I will play and see I am walking. If I press shift, I am sprinting. So my player works perfect. Actually, I will be working with this player and stuff. Actually, let's go here. And then let's mark whatever we do. So we extended our player and put sprint at action. Let's create our context and required variables, which is going to be shared holding hand context. Let's go. I will do it in holding hands player here. I will go with new blueprint class. I will select all classes. I will select objects, which is gonna be empty object, like a plain object, because I don't want to have any functionality of these, because I will not add it into level. It is not a pawn, it's not a character, it's not a player controller, it's just an object. I will call it BP holding hands context. Let's open it. Basically it is just a blueprint object. Let's create our variables. So first I need a leader, which will be a blueprint holding hands player, and also Control D for follower. Also I need to have a hand target location, let's say, and this will be a vector. And also let's create one more hand target rotation, and I will set it to quad, because in iChiric we will be working with quad, so it is better to keep it as quad and as a quaternion, and to give it to the iChiric later on. So let's compile it. I will set all these variables to private, because I don't want them to be accessed from outside of this class. So everything is private, and I can create my functions, because whenever I try to reach or set something, I will call functions. So let's call it init function. So init function, basically it will set the leader and the follower, and then let's say it returns itself. I will get a return node, and I will add a new output here, which will be a BP holding hand context object reference, and I will right click. I will get my self reference to set it, because maybe after initializing it I might use it somewhere else and I need to do something with it. That's why I'm returning myself here. And also let's create some required functions. For example, get players. I will call it as a pure function, and I will call a return node, and I will get my leader, and I will connect. I will get my follower, and I will connect. That's it. Let's create one more. Let's get target info, and this is gonna be doing the same thing. It's gonna return. Also let's go to function and make it pure, and here I will get my hand target location and hand target rotation, and I will return these things. Basically that's it. Also we can create one more function to clear. Also I will put it under the init, because here we will set the leader to an empty object reference, set the follower to an empty object reference. And actually we have, I think, everything we need here. And also let's check, we have created the context and required variables. I think let's go with collision and context creation in a different video. let's see you there.